Are you aware there are vegetables once planted you could harvest once a week for 52 weeks a year? Come on. In our previous video, we tried to look at the bitter leaf plants, in which we saw all the benefits and the number of times you could harvest and the duration in which it stays. We also saw huckleberry, otherwise known as jama jama, which is eaten by mostly Central African countries and even East African countries. And lastly, we saw something known as water leaf. Some people call it spinach. It's grown everywhere in another nature, in another form, but it is the same. So today, we are going into the part 3 of this video, which is a continuation of the part 2. If you haven't watched, please go to our channel and click on the part 2 of this video. This is the part 3. The next vegetable on our list, once planted you could harvest for a year continuously every week, is known as OKONG OBONG. The Nigerians call it ugu. That is U-G-U. Ugu, or it's ogu. I don't know how to pronounce that well. In other nations, it's known as OKONG OBONG. Some people call it as pumpkin leaves. And it's used to cook different delicacies. Now you could start with the seeds. If you don't know, this is how the seeds look. They're such that you should know which of the pumpkins I'm talking about, because not all pumpkin has this variety of seeds. Once you remove the seeds from the pumpkin, you should be able to dry them on the sunlight for at least 4 to 5 days. Once it's well dried and has the right temperature, you could now put in a bowl for you to let it germinate. And always ensure you plant it sideways. Do not just lay it down flat. You see the way it's here flat? Do not do such. Always ensure you plant it straight, such that it has an opportunity to germinate. Once it germinates, it will be time to transplant, and from there you could start with your pumpkin leaves or your ogu or your OKONG OBONG. Also, I want you to know that OKONG OBONG can be done at small scale, also large scale. In small scale, I'm talking about if you want to go into it first, I believe you want to know. Start in your garden, you see how it grows. The process it takes that you plant until it germinates and look just like this before the transplanting. Why others don't even transplant, they just plant it directly into the soil, maybe under a banana, under maybe a yam stick or whatsoever measures. Know that a garden which is small scale and a large acre are two different, and now harvest is done differently. Also, you could put up sticks in order to let these pumpkin leaves to grow and climb right up, because why? It's creeping. It's one of the creeping crops. It creeps. Okay, if you are able to do that, fine. If you're not able, it doesn't stop your OKONG OBONG from growing. OKONG OBONG can be harvested at least once a week for more than 2 years. Once a week for more than 2 years. And it's one of the prestigious vegetable. Why do I use the word prestigious? It's because it's highly expensive. They don't just sell it cheap. Why? Because it goes with every delicious meal. You might just make a stew and you want a taste of something green in it, in something vegetable. You go out with it due to its peculiar nature that does not require salt or Maggi. You could just eat it like that. We just boil it for less than 60 seconds. Some people don't even boil it. They just put warm water, they stand it down and they put the leaves there. That is how easy it is to make. Now, harvesting it once a week gives you the opportunity to be able to visit your local bush market once a week, making at least $50 to $100 depending on the large scale farming in which you're practicing. I don't know how you want it, or if you're in need of this OKONG OBONG seed, please kindly write below and we'll be able to ship it to you in different countries and how you could get them. OKONG OBONG is very good. I'm calling it OKONG OBONG because that's the only name I know best, but Nigerians call it ogu. Why the whites call it pumpkin leaves. I don't know why so many names on just a singular plant. So I'm just giving all the names because you might be thinking that you don't know which of these I'm working with, but you might just have it around you and you're missing out. If you want to start in a vegetable farming, this is the first thing I'll recommend. Is the first vegetable I'll recommend. I have spoken about others and I'm still recommending this. This is how the pumpkin looks like. The second vegetable we are looking is garden egg or scarlet eggplants. I know this is the normal eggplants that most whites know, but us Africans, you agree with me here that this is the eggplant here, the one on my left. This is the eggplants you know. If you go to traditional occasion, be it weddings, you will not see something as big as this. This is what you're going to be served with granite paste or peanut butter as the white do call it. So it is also a prestigious vegetable that you could plant. Now, don't get me wrong here. It is quite good. Why? You don't only sell the eggplants in which you're seeing here, or they call it garden egg or eggplant or African eggplant. You don't only sell it, but you sell all with the leaves. Now, the leaves is used to make vegetables. Most often, families at home want to cut it, boil it, and just prepare a vegetable which could be eat either with swallow or with plantain or with potatoes. So the leaves can be harvested, and the more you harvest, the more it increases the production of the African eggplant. Some people call it African eggplant or garden egg or njagatu, unlike this other eggplant we know which is coming from abroad, the western part of the world, which is looking like purplish in color. We don't have that here. Even if you decide to plant it in Africa, it is very low. The production, I don't know if it's our soil that makes it very poor, but most often our own African eggplant tend to excel more than the purple eggplant. If you're going it for this eggplant of this African eggplant, remember you could be done behind your house in your garden or also in acres. Remember, I'm saying vegetable in which you're starting your farming life with, and the success rate here is 100%. I'm not sending you into agriculture has its own losses at time, but most often if you start small, you grow big. And if you're starting with vegetable, it's something you won't go wrong. Why? Because it is a constant flow of money and resources, given the fact that it's being harvested every week or at most once every 2 weeks or twice a month, giving that opportunity for you to decide either you want a small scale business or a large scale. Once it's already ripened, this is it. You could decide to use this ripe nature either to remove the seeds in it or also to be able to cook. Remember, African eggplant is not as cheap as you think. Have you seen it here? In weddings, important event, when the chiefs meet, when the elders meet, when the kings meet, come on. You must always find the African eggplant within their midst, indicating the richness and the quality of African products. Yes, we are known for our culture and everything. So understanding it, note that your wedding, if you're planning to get married and you're in Africa and you don't know about the African eggplant, I don't know what you want to serve people on your wedding day, especially your traditional wedding. If elders don't get to eat African eggplant, what is their gain? What was the essence of that marriage? You know how a wedding is without jollof rice, right? That's how a wedding without African eggplant also looks like. That is how the quality of it. So you could sell this eggplant because people also use it not just for events, but also to cook some delicacies, especially stew. The African eggplant stew. People get to cook it, so they could cook the fruits separate and also they could cook the vegetables separate. So imagine you selling two in one product, two in one in just one vegetable, and harvesting it at least twice a month for a period of 1 year. And you know what? If you're watching right up to now, then this secret is just for you. Vegetable earners gets to make more than the normal farmers that they do. Why? When you're trying to farm and you're looking at the long scale, especially planting something like cassava, corn, those are 3 months, 9 months, sweet potatoes, yam. You look at the duration, right? You could target those long ones while putting vegetable as your short term, especially youths which don't want to, which have been jobless for a long while and they're looking for a means to start an agricultural venture. Then this might just be what you have been missing and what you're looking out for. It permits you to be able to gather all the resources and all the word you need. It means every weekend you get to have money in your pocket coming in from your garden or your farm while waiting for 6 months in order to have that large harvest, or waiting for 3 months to harvest either your peanuts or your maize or your yam. Remember, all this I'm stated here, it is found on my channel, and if you want to know any of them, being maize, being cassava, being peanut or granite, everything you want to know, cassava, they are all in my bio. You find them there. So if you're thinking, or if there's a question you want how to get the seeds and how you could know that the seed is very easy, you get your eggplant, especially those that are already ripe. You remove the seeds and you sun it for at least 1 week so that it takes all its time to dry, and then you can nurse it right now. So thank you for watching. I am your host Magdalene, and do a favor of subscribing, and thank you for watching right up to the end. Love you. You have been a great source of encouragement. I'm truly grateful for all that which you do.